welcome back to Adobe Live. I'm Sarah Stewart, your host.
I'm Serge Vasil.
Yes, and Serge has been working on a travel app with us for the past 2 days. This is day 3 of our adventure. Day 1, we looked at wireframes. We looked at putting together the idea for this travel app. Day 2, we worked on some visual designs, worked on the final designs for the application. And day 3 today, we're going to be looking at creating a prototype, putting together design specs, and doing some user testing. And so that's a quick recap of what we've been working on. I'll also talk a little bit about our schedule. The schedule for the week has a lot of UI and UX designers. So we have Serge today in the morning. We also have Peck in the afternoon with Talon, and then we have Cindy later today with Paul. So everyone's doing different projects with UI and UX design, and Serge has been focusing on this lovely travel app. We have also been creating some challenges for you guys this week. Today, though, we'll be doing some portfolio reviews. So if you want to have your portfolio reviewed by the lovely Serge, you want to get those submissions in, and we'll be looking at 2 of those today. Yesterday and day 1, we looked at some lovely challenges using some UI kits, so please go check those out as well. Check out those UI kits. People made some cool stuff. We had a lot of fun looking them over with different animals included in the designs. And today we'll be looking over some portfolios. And just as a quick recap, we'll take a look at Serge's work. He is a lovely designer, one of the first designers outside of Adobe to be working in XD. He has this beautiful website that he created with a designer friend.
I really appreciate it.
It's so clean, I love it. And it has a bunch of his Behance portfolios, which are also beautifully designed. Very clean work. So you can check him out online at sergevasil.com, or you can check him out on Behance. The username's a little bit different. It's VASEGE. So please follow his work.
I might consider changing it, keeping it consistent everywhere.
Yeah, that's tough, right? You always want to have the same handle everywhere. I try to grab Sarah Stewart Work because it reads Sarah Stew Artwork and Sarah Stewart Work in the same way. But I have that everywhere because my name is so common. It's hard to get my name.
Oh,
you have a unique name, though. It's probably easier for you to get
It's unique here in America, but it's not as unique, where I'm coming from.
Okay, so online it might be a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I can see that some people have been with us the whole time. So welcome back, Nikhil. Tim, it's good to see you. Chris, nice to see you. Enrique, good to see you again. Hi, Jasper. Please participate. We have some wonderful prizes for the participation chat today. Today is this beautiful XD stencil kit, which I haven't seen yet. It's my first time seeing it, and I would love to have something like this. We'll bring that up again later today to show you what's inside, but please tell us where you're from, tell us what you're doing today, ask us questions as we go through this, and thanks for joining in.
Yep.
So Serge, you want to talk a little bit about what you want to do today and what we're going to do now?
Sure, and first I would like to, do a quick recap of what we've done in the past 2 days. So here are the high-fidelity wireframes we created a day ago, Tuesday, and then after that, basically all of this. Here's the flow with the wireframes, and then probably some of you might remember that. And then we started, coming up with visual design. So this is a quick recap of what we've been doing yesterday.
This looks fancy. You mocked this up?
I was able to work on this, polish it at home, and so right now, today we're going to be focusing on prototyping.
Yeah, it might be good to see how you put this together based off the screens that we did yesterday, because I see that you put them in devices, and people might want to know how to create a pretty screen like this.
Yeah, so I had a device mock-up here in Sketch, and basically the way you do it, you save one of the screens in PNG format on your machine, and then you drag and drop that PNG right here, right on one of the screens. And it will appear nicely. We can do it together. Let's see.
Let's do it.
So you select an artboard, then you go here, and then basically choose one of the screens, and then save them to your machine. and after that you basically drag and drop. See how easily it appears here. You don't need to do anything else.
That's super easy.
Cool. Yeah, and as you can see, you probably remember that we decided to go with this green as the CTA color. We might consider changing it today, but yeah, let's just communicate and find the best CTA color possible.
Yeah, maybe chat if you have a favorite color you think will work with this app. Let us know. I really like the green though. I think it works really well.
Right, I agree. It's just, it's always good to be sure, and it's super easy to do. In XD, we can just select this green color, right-click it, and then hit Edit, and then basically drag here, and you will see as it changes
it's like a
everywhere.
Rainbow gradient. Enrique says that green is dope.
Right, so it's cool, yeah. And I mean, at some point we might even consider coming up with a flashing color, flashing CTA color that will change over time as you, use the app.
That's cool. I haven't seen that before. Is there an app that does that?
No, there's no app like that. So it would be fun and new, and I guess that that's the future we might consider.
Yeah. And also, where do you get these device mock-up screens? So I know that there are a couple different sites where you can grab them. I think Angle is one that I've used in the past. It's pretty extensive, but you have to pay for it. Is there some free resources that people can use to get the screens?
Yeah, basically just Google, guys, and you will be able to find a proper sketch. Some people post it on Behance as well to promote their work, and I really like searching, exploring Behance for that purpose. There's plenty of mockups. You should just find your favorite author, and once you find him, once you open his files, and if you like the way they're structured, the way they look, you can just go with him.
Or her.
Or her, yeah, true.
Yeah, Behance is a wonderful resource for a lot of free mock-ups, a lot of free designs and UI kits too, I find. So definitely check out Behance, search that stuff. I think you can filter it as well, so awesome.
Absolutely.
We have a question from Nikhil about user acceptance test cycles. How many user test cycles should design go through to attain a functional and design balance for the app? So I guess how many rounds of user testing do you normally have?
Right, so it's an ongoing process. It may take years because we all change, design changes. Its principles don't change that much, but depending on your product and your audience, you should consider testing it every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you think about products we use every day, they've been around for years. They constantly have to do testing. It all depends on what you want to do. But when you want to ship a product, I generally do at least 2 rounds of testing on my design before I'll ship something. 2 is like the bare minimum, though. You want to do as many as you can.
Right. It's never too many, and if you have the privilege of data, if you have a lot of user data, you should use it, you should analyze it, and then improve your design based on that.
Yeah, very good advice.
Cool. So today we are going to be focusing on this, high fidelity designs. We are going to wire them up together and then create a clickable prototype. It's super easy to do in Adobe XD, but first I would like to just show you what I've done
since yesterday.
Yeah, since yesterday. And I remember, guys, that I promised you to show the web experience as well. This is the mobile app, but I wanted to translate it to, to the web, basically, form. So it's not crazy. It's just one page, but still. And first, let's just remember what we've done in the past 2 days. So here are the polished designs.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, yesterday we did the Explore screen, we did the detail for a location.
My trips, yes, and activity.
And we did the settings page slightly, right? We started that page.
We just started my account page, which is the last one in the bottom navigation. Sure. But I just decided to polish it a little bit further. As you can see, it didn't change much, but it's not supposed to be super visual. There's just one accent, which is the profile picture at the top, and then the rest remains the same. It's just the basically fonts and lines and icons at the bottom.
Right.
One more thing, though, is this flow where you can start crafting your, perfect trip or, dream travel
Dream trip
experience.
to Paris.
To Paris or to anywhere else. So here I wanted to visualize the way the context menu appears when you start typing something. So as you can see, the main element on this page is the name of the city, but then we all know that there's plenty of cities that are called Paris. So this is where you would see all of them and you would get to choose between them. And then if it's multi-destination trip, you probably, it's a good idea to have some element indicating that so that you could, if it's not enough in terms of, if it's not super descriptive in your opinion, you could add a text label next to it saying add another destination or one more destination or multi-city, anything like that. But if it's enough, and I'm talking about user data as well, if it's enough for the users, I advise to remove everything unnecessary and keep only the essential parts in your designs.
Yeah, we talked about UX content strategy, really making sure that the words that you put on the page match the user experience you want to occur.
Yeah.
So it's part of a designer's responsibility, unless you have a dedicated team to think about these things too.
Right, yeah. In most cases you don't, but let's continue.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to show you what it looks like, what it would look like in the light mode versus dark mode when it comes to text, and especially logos when it comes to, for instance, the airline tickets, where it's probably a good idea to use the airline logos because they give context to the users right away and they get to choose easier than if it was just, it would have been just text on the screen.
Yeah.
So at the top you see the light mode and at the bottom you see the dark mode. Which mode do you guys like better? Which one do you prefer better? I mean, we can just focus on this one here. As you can see, there are small text elements, which means that from the user perspective, it's just, usually better to put such elements on light or white background. But then at the same time, I mean, this looks a little bit more original, I'd say, and unusual. So maybe, it would be nice to, let users decide which mode they prefer.
Yeah, so we can test this in user testing. But Chad, let us know, do you like the light version or the dark version of the date picker and the airline picker?
Right.
Let us know.
And so basically the flow remains the same. We select the destination, the dates, the flights, departing and returning, and then we select a hotel, which is things to do, museums, restaurants, outdoor, indoor, anything really. And then the transportation thing, which is usually not provided that much, but in this case, let's assume that the user has selected Lyft as his favorite transportation, like car sharing service, and that's why it appears here. But I mean, it's a good idea to also work with such company as a partner and benefit from the partnership. But the users might be able to select between several services, car sharing services in the settings, and in that case, this would change. This would be anything else.
You
really.
customize, like the mock-up we saw yesterday where they had my name in it to personalize it. So everyone seems to love the dark version. We have May the Force Be With Us with Team Dark by Brian, Nikhil, Tim, Claire, Russell, Enrique. They all like the dark version.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, this is what the useful user data is. It's super important, and sometimes you can just be sure that some option would be more popular, more useful, but the audience sometimes thinks different, and it's very important to hear your audience, read all of the reviews, ratings, and change your app constantly.
Yeah, there was a question by Enrique about whether or not it's hard to read in terms of accessibility, but
that is a very good question also, and you should also test it. Show it not only people of your age or from your cultural group, but from different groups, and gather that feedback together, and then calculate the output basically. Cool. So this is the itinerary. Pretty simple because I just didn't want to focus on the images here. The main point here is the price, which is very important when you get to choose to travel somewhere. And the last thing is sharing your experience with your future companions. And you can just basically select them from a list of your friends here, or you can also connect your Facebook friends or your contacts from your phone, anyone really. And the last step is to just see this one more time the way your friends will see it. Again, it looks like a timeline with the cards, and then if all of your companions have accepted a certain experience, which is a flight, or it could be anything really here, or a visit to a restaurant or hotel, anything. So this green check mark would appear over the card, and if there's no check mark, it means that not everyone or no one
no one wants to go there.
Right. So you should basically click on the card, and then you would see the details, and you would understand what is going on.
Gotcha.
In more detail.
Yeah, I really like the card format. It to me is very clear as a timeline, but that would also be really fun to test with users to see if they can understand it.
Right. And then maybe change it slightly so that it's it makes more sense as a timeline. But okay, let's just focus on prototyping. As you know, or if you don't, so I'm here to explain it to you.
Yeah.
There's this text link in the upper left corner. When you click it, the workspace looks different. And for those of you who are new to Adobe XD, there's this onboarding process where
this animation was made by an Adobe employee, and it's so cute.
Right. It is cute. I like it, and it's very self-explanatory. So it just shows you that you can basically link the screens to each other, and then like I said, if you're new to this tool, you can just read through. It will guide you. It will help you understand the way this app works and operates. So as you can see, this first screen, which is Explore, it's already selected, and you see this tiny indicator here on the right, as well as this one on the left. This one means the fold line. So this is what is going to be visible for the users when they land on this page. So everything until this dotted line, everything else will be down. So you would have to scroll up to see that content. What we want to do here, I guess that first of all, we would like to connect the basically bottom menu elements to the pages that we've designed. So
yeah, there was one more icon when you click on the artboard in the top left.
Right.
What is that one?
So this one indicates the home page. This is the home page, and it just indicates the start of the flow. So what the people will see when they open your app.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's focus on the bottom menu. And remember I told you about the hit areas last time. It's a good idea. It's usually a good idea to link your, to basically select that hit area, not the icon itself, but the hit area, to link it to another page. So in this case, the first page is active, so we don't need to make a link. But the second one here, which is called My Trips, is supposed to open this page, the second one in the flow. So that's why we select this hit area, and then just drag and drop it here.
Like that. There was a question
Simple
about
as
the
that.
menu from Nikhil, which I do want to call out. Tim did answer, but he's asking about fixed elements because, as he noted, we want to have this menu above the fold, or we want it to be sticky while the user is scrolling. Currently in XD, we don't have the ability to have sticky elements or overlays. But if you check out the stream yesterday with Peck and Talon, I believe Talon was showcasing this feature that should be out soon, and XD will be releasing it in the newest release. So soon you'll be able to have it as a fixed element, so your prototype is more accurate to what it'll actually look like when it's developed.
Yeah. So here you will see this context menu that allows you to select a target, which is this screen, so what the users will see when they click on this element here at the bottom. Then the transition effect, which in this case is dissolve, but I think that it's a good idea for the menu elements that are located on the right of your anchor link, which is the home page here. So it's better to push content, to basically push it, you know, either right or left, depending on where in this global structure of the bottom navigation your element is. But in this case, it's better to push it left. And I will show you what it looks like a little bit later. So here, the duration. Let's, I usually start with the duration, and then it just remembers that, you know, this is a global setting for all of the future transitions that I'm going to be creating, unless I change them. So for now, I just select 0.2 seconds, and then I want it to ease out, which means that it will slow down. It will just, you know, basically accelerate and then slow down.
Getting into some animation terms here.
Right. And let's see what it looks like. Here in the upper right corner, you see the desktop preview icon, basically a play icon, and then this is the screen. This is the home page. As you can see, the fold line showed us exactly the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I wonder, is there a way to change the background color on full screen like this, or?
I don't know. You should help me.
Yeah, I should ask Talon this, I guess. But yeah, I think it would be handy when you have a dark UI to be able to change the background color. I don't normally go into full screen. I usually do windowed mode.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, so there is an option to either do full screen where you have this background color, or you can do windowed like this,
right,
where it'll just have it in the size of the resolution.
Yeah. So I also work in this mode, and yeah, whenever you open XD in full mode, it will automatically open the prototype in the full mode as well. So
there's one more note. You can also test it on devices, which we will show later. So if you wanted to pull this up on an actual phone while you're designing on your computer, you can connect the two and it'll work out perfectly.
Yeah, cool. And then we can definitely test it.
Yeah, I'm excited about that portion.
Do you want to do it now?
Let's see if we can pull it up real quick to see what it looks like when you're just testing this on your phone, because that's the best way to test it while you're building it out, if you're building for a mobile device.
I will need to figure out where it is.
Yeah.
On my phone, there's so many projects right now.
You have too many things going on.
Okay, here it is. I see the wireframes though.
Let's maybe.
Okay. It's not the one.
Well, we have the wireframe version. Did you publish the prototype for the wireframe?
Let's publish it together first, just in case that
that might
forgot it. Let's publish the prototype like this. No comments. Let's not show the hotspot hints. Just create a public link and call it companion. Here we go.
Cute.
Don't forget yet to name your app properly. Create an app icon. It's always a good idea to have it because, you know, later you can create even more.
So it looks like it might have added to the bottom, or does it add to the top when it's done?
It adds to the top. The most recent prototypes will appear.
You have so many
at the
prototypes.
Top. Yeah, I need to clean this somehow. Okay.
Okay, well, it should load on the phone.
Let's just continue on my desktop for now, and then we'll come back to the phone once it appears there.
Yep, once it's loaded.
Cool. Okay, so here you see the screen, and then if you scroll down, you see the bottom menu, and then in the bottom menu, when I hover over the second element, you see this hand cursor, which indicates clickability. Obviously, you will not see it on your device, but you know, most of people prototype on a desktop machine. That's why it's good to double check on that. So when you click here, it will open the next screen on the flow like this.
And it pushed to the left.
It did, yes.
Which is nice.
With ease out, which is good. Now we have to worry about you know, how to come back to the previous screen.
Oh no, yeah, how do we go back?
Right, so let's just kind of close this loop. And in order to go back to the previous screen, we go to the second one and we select the first hit area. The hit area beneath the first element, beneath the first icon in the bottom tab bar. As you can see, I've selected it. There's this indicator, which if you drag and drop back, will show you the context menu. And then it says push left. In our case, we need to come back because this element is on the left of the second page. So it would make more sense to push right, to back right, basically. And as you can see, the app remembered my previous settings, which are ease out and 0.2 seconds.
For the animation, yeah.
For the animation, and I'm totally okay with it. Let's see what it looks like once again. And then, yeah, scroll down, go here, and then go back.
Yay!
So yeah, there's a loop, and now we are able to navigate between these two pages. Let's go further and, you know, link the rest of the pages.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, we have about 2 minutes left until we have our lovely giveaway of this XD stencil kit, which I'll quickly show you guys, show everyone. If we open it up, we have some lovely, lovely pencils. I think this is a pencil as well. Yep, 7.7 millimeters, mechanical pencil, 3 regular pencils. We have this lovely graph paper in the middle. But the real awesome thing in this kit are these stencils. So in here, you can see different symbols and shapes that you can draw inside of to create simple wireframes when you're sketching out wireframes on paper. So if you remember day 1 with Serge, he came in with some hotel paper that he had sketched out wireframes on. This would be super handy when you want to draw those quick icons, those quick elements, even arrows and lines for showing flows within the application. This is super handy, and I love sketching things out when I'm working on apps, so I would use this so often. It looks like we even have simple like boxy shapes, so if you want to do simple screens, looks like mobile devices could be used with this stencil. So please participate in chat. You have a chance to win just by participating. Log in to behance.net/live. Tell us where you're from, tell us what your favorite color is, tell us what you thought of this stream so far, and you have a chance to win this. I know that normally we give out socks, pillows, other things, but this is a really practical tool for designers, so I think this is a lovely prize. So yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'll hand it back to Serge, and we'll announce the winner in just a little bit.
Thank you. So I'm wiring these screens together and basically connecting all of the pages to each other. Most of them are going to appear by pushing to the left the previous page, but then when you're on, you know, on the next page, it will push it back. So let's see, give me just a couple of seconds. Okay, and I'm almost done.
Yes, this doesn't take too much time at all. I remember before I used XD, it would be really difficult to do designs and use a different program for prototyping and linking things together. The biggest feature I think that XD did was combining the two and just having it as a tabbed layout in the top left.
Absolutely.
So, such a good idea, so novel for what designers had at the time.
And I like how quickly it does it. You know, you don't have to deal with like frozen app or anything like that. It loads fast, it shows everything really fast, and you don't have to wait for anything. So I can really rely on it.
Yeah, it works really well with many, many artboards. It works very quickly, efficiently, because it was built from scratch recently, which is awesome.
Okay, so let's see what it looks like once again.
I think before we jump into that, we're gonna have to do our participation segment to see who won the stencil kit. pencil kit. It even has the XD logo on it. So please participate for the next 2 minutes, and we'll be picking someone who participates to win this lovely kit. Serge, what would you use this kit for? If you want to take a look at what's inside.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you got to see what was in here, but
It's so cool.
yeah, I like.
I thought it was empty.
I mean, it'd be cool just as like a nice little kit, right? Like
Yeah.
to put your stuff inside of it.
I'm playing. I like it a lot. You can use it for wireframing. It's super cool. You can just use pen and paper, and then all of those shapes. You basically use your pen. You don't have to worry about the rough edges or anything like that.
Yeah, so you can see it on the screen here. Got some lovely icons, got some lovely shapes, and we now know who the winner is. And Serge, would you like to announce who is the lovely winner of this beautiful UI kit?
So the winner is Sebastian Hansen.
Congratulations, Sebastian! Thank you for
Congrats.
participating. You win this lovely, beautiful UI kit. I think it's so
very
rad.
cool. Yeah,
I
it's
want one
very
of these now.
Right.
And these little pads are cool too. You
And it
can
will
do, like, a
save you
screen.
so much time.
Yeah, save you hotel paper too.
Right.
Cool, thank you, Sebastian. Thank you everyone for participating. And now we can jump back into our prototyping.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we will be able to test this on a device today,
Awesome.
which is exciting, and we will see what it looks like, in real context. It's very important to test your designs on an actual device, to feel it, to understand it the way, people will feel it, and then give it, hand the device to your friends just for a little bit of time.
Or your parents.
Or parents, right? And yeah, so just test it everywhere.
Yeah, so we talked about how you can preview it on your screen on your computer while you're working on it, or you can preview it on your mobile device if you have it hooked up.
Right.
We do have it hooked up now, so in a second, Serge will pull that up and show you what it looks like when you're testing these different interactions that he's done on his phone.
Okay.
So you ready for it? Is it up?
Yeah, so it's here on my screen.
Great, so you can see that it's right here on his mobile device. He's
Right.
holding it in his hand, and you can see that he can interact with it. So if he scrolls, it scrolls.
So it all happens real time. As I scroll, it scrolls, and you can see that. And then if I, tap somewhere in the bottom menu, it shows the different pages. I can come back. I can, select different pages like this. For now, not everything is wired, so we will link it together. But as you can see, it will all make sense. And you just don't forget to publish your wireframe in order to be able to test it on your device, which I will do in a couple of minutes once I'm done with the bottom navigation.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like testing on the mobile device is good for if you forgot anything, because you'll try to click something and you'll be like, oh, I can't move forward, I can't move back. You'll know exactly where you need to pick it up.
Right. So we continue testing, linking the screens. Let's just go start with the first screen. So this is not going to be linked because this is the active page. This is my trips. It's already linked. The main button in the bottom navigation is already linked as well. What about the rest of the elements? Linked and linked. Cool. We will check the transitions later. Sometimes you can just do it on the go and then improve the transitions if you're not happy with them. So this is the active page. We are not going to link it. This is the first one. It's already linked. The main one is linked as well. What about this one? Cool. And the last one is linked as well. So let's also work here and then basically make this one link back, because it doesn't have the bottom menu. We have to deal with a different type of a UI pattern here.
Thanks so much for coming by. We'll see you next time.
Cool. Okay, so link here, and then let's create a hit area for this cancel button, which should be 44 because the top bar is 44. Don't forget to create hit areas. It's going to be so much easier for the users and you including to tap it.
Yeah, so this helps with developers, but it also helps while you're building the prototype to have these shapes where you want to be able to test.
Yeah, and for the sake of simplicity, I will only link it back to previous artboard, so that it doesn't depend on where you came from.
That's a really cool feature, because normally you would link to a specific page, but there is the ability to just say whatever the last page was, because maybe your application has you coming to this page from a couple different points, and you don't want to send them to the wrong page, get them confused, so send to last page is really handy.
Correct. Cool. And then the transition for this screen should not be push left. It should be slide up.
Into slides.
Yeah, since it doesn't have the bottom menu, the pattern, the appearance should be different. Slide up as well. Let's do it same way here, and then here. Okay, and then let's continue with this. Links, wired, links. It's the active page. This one is linked. This one is linked as well. Everything is good. Good.
Nice. So this takes some time, but it's a really great tool to be able to test and to be able to mock things together. And this is also something that you can hand off to the development team for them to play with, to understand what the interaction should be and what the animation should be too, because animation is really hard to describe, but if you can show it, it makes it a lot easier for them to know how you want it to feel and interact.
Yeah. So as you can see, I'm updating the live link, and it's supposed to update here as well. And let's see if it did update it. Probably takes some time.
Yeah, the internet's a little bit slow, but I think it should automatically update even if you have it open. It should update, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, let's see.
Maybe we need to close it and reopen it or something along those lines.
Let's try it. Just to be sure that we're on the safe side. Did I close it?
And I noticed you're using the new iPhone X, which is a fun phone. I got that as a testing device recently, and the whole face feature really was weird to me. I would just pick up my phone and it was always unlocked because it recognized my face, or when I had like my hair up in a bun, I wasn't wearing makeup, it sometimes didn't recognize me. And I was like, wow, I must not look good because it doesn't know who I am. But yeah, I like the face feature. It's pretty cool.
Okay, let's test it once again here. Let's just go through the menu elements. So this one is linked. Let's go to the next one. This one is linked as well. Let's go back. This one is linked here.
Great.
What about the second page? If we go back, we already know that it's linked. This one opens this page bottom to top, which is very cool, and this is the way we wanted for it to appear. And then the notifications looks good. Okay, did you notice it? So this is a wrong type of transition because it's supposed to be reversed. When I click on my trips, see, it shows it shows it this way. Let's fix that.
Pushing in the wrong direction. So when you're thinking about these animations and how the screens push, you're actually thinking about how it's compromised or how it's laid out on this design file, because you want to think about it as sheets of paper in space, and think about how a user contextually can think of these objects in space.
Correct. Yes, and think of it globally. So basically go to the bottom menu, click everywhere, and then just understand the way it works in both ways: when you open it, when you kind of close it, or when you go somewhere, and then when you return. So the transitions probably should mimic the actual experience. If you go to the right, you come back to the left, right? Okay, one more link is a little bit has a wrong direction. This one here, supposed to push right, I believe. Yeah, cool. And then this one works well here.
This was done so quickly too. It's really impressive.
So cool. I really like it. And I like how this ease out transition works. It just looks nice, and it basically mimics the actual experience I would like to achieve. Cool. Okay.
Oh, that one's wrong.
It's nice to catch a bug.
Hi, Lucin. Hi, Philippe. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Cool.
Everyone's been participating quite a bit, so thank you. Thanks for being active in chat. And remember, ask Serge any questions you might have, any burning questions about
Please
UI or UX, because he's got a brain full of facts for us, and he is super organized and knows what he's doing here, so.
Thank you. I hope I do.
Yep, I think it's evident. I think it's totally evident in the work you're producing. It's beautiful.
Thank you. So as you can see, I've added this hit area in this flow everywhere, and you know, good idea to have it here as well. So here it is, and then let's just focus on this flow, the flow of crafting the trip. So the next one is going to be this one. I would like for you to see the way this app is supposed to work. You know, basically this page is supposed to work for both the empty state as well as the filled state. So here I don't need any transition because this is pretty much the same screen but with different type of content. That's why I will just select none. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so when I click, well, actually, when I click next, no, sorry, this is supposed to lead to the next screen, and I need transition here, which will be swipe left. And I was talking mostly about
the text field, right?
Right.
So the text field, if they start typing, you don't want the screen to change, to jar them. You just want it to load the new content on top.
Correct. Cool, let's see. So if I hit here, you see that, you know, basically the text appears, and just imagine that you've typed it. Yeah.
What do you think of the dissolve animation for when that kind of interaction's happening? That's usually what I tend to, but I see you do none, which also works.
Yeah, we can try dissolve as well. I mean, the actual users are not going to be able to see it anyways, but I mean, if you like it this way, I mean, it looks nicer for sure. So if you like it this way and it's more inspiring, yeah, so you can use it for sure. And then this one is supposed to be linked here. Okay, let's then focus on this one. Supposed to go same way. So this next screen, and this is supposed to push left. Let's see. Cool.
There's a question by Chelsea that I don't know that I completely understand, but she's asking if there are plans to move XD from a web app producer into just a UI producer that companies can use with their own hardware or software. If you could ask that again and maybe clarify what you mean, I can maybe help you out. And Talon, who is the lead designer for the XD team, will be on the next stream after us. He might be the perfect person to ask this question, but I'll try to help you out. I'm not sure that I understand the question, though.
Okay, let's link it back. Push right is back, and then basically link everything that says next to the next screen in the flow. In this case, as you can see, we don't have next, we don't have the text link, but we can also link this price. That's why I made it green. I wanted for it to be a link. So you know, if you're a user, you would probably understand that green indicates clickability, or in some cases selected state, which is also clickable, by the way. So you can do something like this.
Yep, consistency is key. You've been consistent with the color to mean that it's interactive or clickable in some way. So,
and don't forget to link back.
Sometimes you need to go back to go forward.
Right. Push right. We'll see if we do it right. Push right. Push right. Okay. Almost there. And it just takes a couple of minutes. Super easy. Okay.
So Chelsea is trying to clarify her question. I think it's that it's not a web-based product that her team is working on. It's lighting and entertainment UIs for private aircrafts. It shouldn't matter what it ends up being incorporated into in terms of a tech stack or resolution of screen. You should be able to design for any UI using XD, and then you just work with your development team to be able to implement that UI into whatever tech stack or device you'd be using. I mean, I've used it to design for small screens inside of different 3D printed medical devices and medical machines, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I'm almost there.
Yep, this takes time to put together, but it's magical when it finally fits together.
Okay. And we'll see if the transitions make sense. You never know until you try it.
Byron asks, what would be the best way to create a photo gallery UI?
A photo gallery UI. So, I mean, you should probably, explore. I think that iOS gallery is pretty cool. It's pretty straightforward. You can go with it. But I mean, in general, you should just rely on your intuition and your gut and understand what exactly you lack as a user when you use apps like that. So,
yeah. I like Google Photos personally. I think that's a very clean UI.
Right.
You can definitely look for inspiration elsewhere, but basically the repeat grid in XD is a great way to design any kind of photo layout where you have multiple photos. So try playing around with that.
Cool. And then let's see what we have here. We open it here. We go here. We go back. Cool. Let's go to the next screen. So here, the user is supposed to select the dates first, and let's assume that it's already done. We're past that point, and then once the dates are selected, basically you hit next. On this page, we see if we can go back, and yes, we are able to get back. So on this page, we would select the price. It would bring us to the next page, and then yes, we are able to get back. Same logic everywhere, basically. We see if we did it right. So here, the UX is it basically as follows. You click, as a user, you click on one of the cards, it expands, it shows you the details of this hotel, and then once you see the price, the details of like room information, anything that you're really interested in, you select it, and then you get to the next screen.
Oh man, now I'm hungry. These are beautiful photos of food.
Yeah, I'm hungry as well, actually. Well, we can get back from things to do, but what we lack here, now that I see it, and it's a good catch always to go through the actual experience in the form of a live prototype. We see that on this screen, the user can select several cards, which means that probably we have to have one more CTA, the final CTA, for when you select all of those cards and you want to get to the next point, to the next page.
You picked all your restaurants and you want to move forward in the process.
And then
Hark mentioned, Arnver, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, I'm going to call you Hark. Hark mentioned that he's going to be using XD to design UIs for automotive infotainment systems, which sounds really cool. I think a lot of cars nowadays have the little consoles in them, and you can design using XD for those little consoles. So you can create some really cool stuff. I'd love to hear more about what people in chat are building for what kind of devices, what kind of screens, what kind of projects, so please let us know.
Cool. Okay, so let's get back on this page real quick, and then yeah, let's wire it here, and then push to the left. It's nice, and then let's just forget about it. Cool. Okay, next screen.
Nice. We got people working on websites for a client, a service booking design. Nice. I think the coolest thing I designed for was I worked on some factory software for a while, so people had to do time tracking with little screens in the factory floor. So I had to design for that, which meant big buttons, big bright colors, so that they don't mess up when they're tracking times. They're pressing like stop and start for these big machines.
Very cool.
What was the coolest project you designed for a device?
An electric car.
Electric car?
Yeah, the interface, and it was a short project. I was a part of the giant team, and this is it's a Californian startup. Well, I don't know if they consider themselves a startup right now.
They're getting bigger.
Right, so it was very fun.
That's
and
cool.
The most exciting part was to sit in the
car.
In the model. It wasn't a car, it was a model made of wood and some materials I don't even know.
But you feel like you're in the car and you can see it there.
And you get to see the interfaces when you're sitting, in that thing which is supposed to be a car.
Yeah.
It was mind-blowing.
Surreal?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so cool. How many screens did you end up doing for them? Was it a lot of work?
No, it wasn't like a giant project, but several screens, mobile apps. You would be able to basically open the door through your app with the help of this app, and then check the temperature or anything like that.
Kind of like a spacecraft almost. That's
right.
Cool. Sorry for mispronouncing it. It's Har Karan Veer. Thank you so much. Or I can call you Singh. Cool, thank you, Singh. That's so cool, though. I love working on unique projects where designs aren't just for mobile or web. You get to make some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We're almost done.
Man, Chelsea's designing for 2.5-inch screens. That sounds really difficult.
It really does.
Hopefully it's just like 1 or 2 buttons and not anything too complex.
We're almost done. I'm sorry. I'm just a little bit focused on...
No problem. You're in the zone, which is great. We can talk to Chad a little bit more about what they're working on. Thanks, Mark. I like these earrings, too. As a designer, you gotta have stylish clothing, otherwise people call you out on it, right?
Okay, here.
Oh my gosh. Chelsea's customers try to fit sliders in the 2.5-inch screens. That's so crazy. James is working on some financial storefront products. Crypto, nice.
Crypto is getting big, right? Everyone's working on...
Have you ever heard of the app Robinhood?
No, I never heard of it.
Robinhood is probably my favorite designed app. It's actually for stocks, but they recently got into crypto. So you can purchase crypto on their interface, and they did a really cool retro, like vaporwave type of style. Wow. The design and art is supreme. I love it. I think it's my favorite app design, period.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, and I'm going to be working on some crypto websites and apps in the future with some clients too.
Very nice. Okay, I guess we're ready to test it. Finally, everything is in place, I believe. If not, we will fix it. But for now, we know that the bottom tab bar works well.
Yeah.
Let's go through this core experience. So here we are able to get back, and then let's check if it gets back to another page, because we've set it to a previous page, not to a certain link. And if I click it here, it also gets back to this page. It's cool. Then on this page, we see the way the hints, the search results basically show up, and then everything else pretty much is in place. we select everything we need. Since there are several cards, this is the main CTA, and then again you can select several cards here as well. This is the itinerary. Let's assume that I'm okay with it, and then I get to choose, I get to share the trip with my friends. I select them, 3 added, I click share, and then this is the end result, and I hit done, and it brings me back to my trips, and it shows the Paris trip at the top. Because
I don't remember the photos being there. That looks really nice.
Yeah, so it just indicates the fact that you've shared this trip with your friends, and I mean, you can obviously skip that step if you want to go alone. But at this point, it's a nice visualization of the fact that you've shared this with your friends, and you can even add more friends to share it with.
And you mentioned that you can make new friends, right? So
exactly.
That's cool too.
So ideally, and I believe that every app, kind of almost every app wants to become a social network.
Yeah.
Yes. So it would be a nice idea to, kind of deliver some unique experience to the users so that, they are not able to find it anywhere else. And this would be your advantage, and you could use it and then create something as big as a social network.
Yeah, I like the idea of social networks surrounded by activities that you like to do, like travel or like a soccer club or like...
It's always a good idea.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, when you get to choose imagery, right, you can go Google it, but then the search results, they will be very different. And most of them are not going to be curated, and you as a designer need curated, polished content. That's why you use Adobe Stock, right? It's a different type of Google search images, sorta, so I think that something like that, curated content, curated experiences, such as, a collaboration tool that allows you to craft perfect trips with your friends or people you don't know, it would be nice, in my opinion.
You never want to have a bad trip, so if you can collaborate with other people and you can make the best experience and you'll love that location, you'll always go back and remember it fondly.
Exactly. So yeah, now we have everything in place. I will just publish it once again. Maybe, okay, whatever, let's just check a couple things here.
Yeah, there are a couple settings, like allow comments.
We don't need password.
Yeah, if you want to password protect it because you have security at your company, that's a good feature.
Or if you don't want for other people to see it, if someone accidentally shares a link to it with them.
You don't want the executive to accidentally click in and see your work when it's in progress.
Right. Cool. Okay, so yeah, everything is in place. And do you mind being a user?
I will be a user for you.
Right.
I am excited about this.
That would be amazing.
I've seen a little bit of it, but it'll be different to go through it, especially since you've worked on some screens when I wasn't looking.
Right. Okay, so if you can, let me just figure out this thing.
Yeah, and are there documents or are there design deliverables that you'll create when you're working on user testing to make sure that it's efficient and you're recording things properly? So I know that when I would do user testing, I would want to measure qualitative and quantitative data surrounding what the user experienced. And what that means is more measurable stuff, like whether or not they succeeded, what the ease of use rating was, compared to how they felt about it, what their first impression was, if they felt like they understood it. I think that both measurements are important to measure whether or not it's successful.
Absolutely, yes. And then I just remember I mentioned the website earlier, so
we should cover that before we jump into it.
It's just a one page. So such an app most likely would look like this when it comes to a website, and we could just motivate the user, with an inspiring text, something like that. Where would you like to go? And then they would be able to search. And on a page like this, we could expose our content, engaging content, so that people understand and they see that they can start with something with one of the cards, and then they can go to Europe, Asia, South America,
I think
anywhere.
It's super helpful to have these suggestions because people aren't always going to want to just search for stuff. Google is very great in that you can search for anything, but even when I was working at NYU Langone Medical Center, we would want to give them suggestions as the type of doctor that they'd be looking for, because it's easier for them to click on something than to know what to search for. And these beautiful photos make you want to travel everywhere. So if I saw this beautiful photo of, say, Singapore, I'd be like, well, maybe I want to go to Singapore this year instead of where I thought I wanted to go.
They say it's a mind-blowing experience.
It looks beautiful. I feel like the architecture and all the cool stuff going on there would be fun to see.
Absolutely.
India, too, I feel like would be gorgeous. Again, chat, let us know where you want to go, where you've traveled that's beautiful, and what suggestions you have for us. I know you've had some good ones so far on day 1 and day 2, but I want to hear some more.
Let me switch this.
Okay.
And we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, so we can always do the testing by me using your desktop computer, or by you sending me a link that I can open on my machine to emulate me receiving a prototype and testing it on my computer, which would be cool.
Yeah, let's restart XD on his laptop, and if that doesn't work, then we'll do that. So.
Cool. All right, so we're going to try out some stuff first. In the meantime, while we try to figure this out, please let us know any other questions you have, and we'll answer those as we're working out how to get the prototype to work.
So guys, do you have any opinion regarding the CTA color? Which one would you like? Which one would you prefer? We have this green.
I'll go first. I want to see pink.
Oh,
I like
okay.
pink.
That's interesting. So let's, let's just.
Let's try like a neon pink. Maybe like a bright pink. That would be really cool.
Yeah, maybe something like this.
Yeah, I like it. It's more of a purple, but I can deal with this.
Yeah, or lighter.
Yeah, I don't know. The CTAs actually they look good on the black, so the contrast is pretty good.
Right. Or I mean, you can go.
Oh, I like
wherever.
the peachy color.
Yeah.
Nice. Someone wants to try red. Nikhil wants to try red.
Red. Oh, actually, it's a good thing to cover it also. A lot of apps, a lot of companies deal with the fact that their brand color, the primary brand color is red, and in product design, red indicates
danger,
something like error mode or anything like that. So those companies have to deal with the fact that it basically indicates alertness, indicates error state, and they have to come up with a different shade of red or a different CTA color.
But it's interesting because actually different cultures have different colors for different indications. I'm sure some of you know in chat. Red might not mean alert in some Asian cultures. And I know that different things like check mark and circle can also mean different things. So generally when we circle things here in Western culture, that means bad, but in Asian culture that means good. So these are things you need to consider if you're going to be doing localization or globalization of your products. You want to test out the accessibility, but also see how it'll work in different cultures and what different cultural impressions mean for different people.
You have to double check on that. And again, it's user data. If your app is available in many countries, you should check and decide, regarding the CTA, such thing as a CTA color or...
Just send a link to us, Sarah.
Okay.
Cool. And then blue was another color that people wanted to try. Mark wanted to see the blue. Douchey Rocks wanted to see blue. Chelsea wanted to see blue.
Let's see it in blue.
And in order to test the prototype, we're actually going to mimic Serge sending me a link to my machine and me opening it on my machine and testing it out. So we'll try that method since we're having some technical issues with the phone, unfortunately. But you can test it with a mobile device.
You can.
It's just since we want to stream it, it's complicating things a little bit. So for you, it'll be easy. For us, we made it difficult for ourselves. But yeah, XD is a beautiful tool for prototyping very, very quickly and efficiently.
How do I send a link to you?
So when you publish a prototype, you can copy a link. So if we want to see how to do this...
I already did it.
Oh, okay. So you've already done it. When you publish it, you'll have a link to copy, and then you can just send that link via things like Slack or email or what have you. And you can attach a password to it if you'd like. Or you can go to assets.web.com, I believe, and your prototypes will all be there online in the cloud, and you can send an invite via email. And so by clicking on your prototype there, you can just type in someone's email address and it'll send them a link to be able to open that prototype, which is also super handy.
Okay.
And Assets recently redesigned, so if you haven't seen assets.adobe.com in a little while, please check it out because it's beautiful and the people who worked on it worked really hard.
If you don't mind to type your...
Sure, so my email, I guess I shouldn't announce my email because then I'll get a lot of emails. Great, so that's my email. Serge is sending it to me via email. I'm gonna pull it up on my machine. And we got a couple different color options still being thrown out there, like orange and cerise. I'm not sure what color cerise is, but that sounds pretty cool.
It does, it definitely does.
There's a hex code value
Oh,
though.
okay, so let's try it.
DE3163.
Oh, okay. It's sort of, it's nice.
Oh, I like it. It's kind of like the
it?
hot pink, but it's a mix between the red and the pink.
Right.
Magenta. Cerise is what it's called? Cerise, maybe? It's C-E-R-I-S-E. I like that color. I'm going to try to remember that hex value.
Or orange was the...
Orange is another one, and there might have been a hex value attached to orange. Yes.
Oh, okay.
FF.
FF.
93.
9327.
Yep.
It's a nice color as well. It's warm. Warm is always good in terms of, you know, psychology, and people get it, receive it positively. So I would obviously consider this one. I would say that it's like orange. So you see, I'm even.
Yeah, I didn't
I
get
want
the
to eat
email.
an orange now.
I didn't get the email with the link, so maybe we try one more time.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
So, real quick. Oh, I know what I did wrong. The .com shouldn't be there.
Okay.
I was not paying attention while typing it in. That's
No
my
worries.
bad. My bad. Thank you for sending the link. And let's try out some more colors while we're waiting for that to load on my machine. We got a bunch of good ones. I just see a hex value from Nikhil. I'm not sure what color this is going to be.
Okay, let's see. Let's try it.
It's F2 5858.
Oh, this one is nice too. It's a little bit muted.
Yeah, it's kind of more peachy
which is nice
too.
as well.
I like that we're staying in the same range though.
So people tend to choose orange, reddish, sorta, magenta, go somewhere there. It's nice to see something like this. See what it looks like in dark theme.
Yeah, I like the red on the dark a lot.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. It's very nice.
It doesn't seem too alerty to me too, which
Yeah.
I was worried about. We were both worried about.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It's a nice choose of color.
Yeah. It works on the light and the dark backgrounds. Okay.
Here. So these are the PNGs. That's why the green remains the same. But in general, it's very cute.
Yeah, I like it. I like these color choices. Good job, chat. I have it up on my machine now, so I am able to be our user tester.
Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah, so I got the link from Serge. I opened it up, and this is what I see. I get to see the name of it. I get to see it's a prototype. I get to see the date it was published. I am signed in, so I don't have an option to sign in on the top right, but I'm also able to leave comments, which is really cool. So I can see the application here. I can maybe add a comment, and I can say something like, this logo is sweet. And we have comments available that Serge should be able to see.
Mm-hmm.
Great, so I can go through and say I'm given a script from Serge. So if you want to maybe demonstrate what you would do in usability study, what would you say to me to get started?
Yeah, so it all depends on your on the purpose, what you want to find out. Usually those are the very generic questions. If people understand what the app does, if they understand the way it works, and how many steps it takes them, and how much time it takes them to complete the user goal you've set for them. And when it comes to the tools like user testing, for instance, There's a tool like that that's very popular. You should articulate your question the way that they don't hint at the right answers.
Right.
So you have to be kind of vague.
Ambiguous.
Ambiguous, yes, so that people don't tend to answer to your questions correctly, because psychologically people like to be right. They like to they would like for you to appreciate their feedback. So sometimes they just follow the path rather than create their own way and criticize the app. And what you want critics, right? You want something not just overall or generalized, but something very specific, something that defines a problem, if there's a problem in your design.
Yeah, so in this case, I might be given the task of creating a trip to Paris.
Correct.
And
this is the main user goal.
Yeah, and that's it. And so from here, I would look at all this stuff. I could see maybe that Paris is on the home screen. And throughout testing, I should say out loud what I'm doing so that Serge understands what I'm thinking while I'm looking at the application. So maybe I see that Paris is on the home screen, and I would expect, oh, maybe I can click on this, but since it's not set up, Serge would maybe say, oh, in the future that would be set up.
Yes, and ideally, when it comes to the user testing, it's better to make everything clickable so that people don't get stopped by anything and they go wherever they want.
Yeah, they explore it really. But okay, I know that maybe this big CTA at the button is what I need to click on, so let's click on that. Great, I get the animation, I get this screen up, and I expect to be able to type in Paris. Cool. Oh, we have some notes in here. I guess the prototype was shared it with chat.
Oh, cool.
So Nikhil has his comment here, would highlighting the search string be good usability? It's a good piece of feedback.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say thumbs up.
I know it all appears real time, so
everyone can see this. If you click on the link, you can see our comments. You can all collaborate, which is really great. You can see who commented on what. Cool, but I have the Paris I want. I'm gonna click next. Then we have the calendar screen. I really like the top part of the calendar. I think that's really cool.
it should snap ideally so that you don't forget, because it's very important when it comes to a trip, to a vacation. It's very important to remember what day of week it is, because people obviously, most of them work Monday, Friday, right?
Yep.
Monday through Friday, and Saturday, Sunday is reserved for fun.
Fun days.
Yeah.
Great, and so I can leave a comment about the whole page if I don't want to leave a specific pin. This calendar is very clear. And so that'll just be a general comment, or I can pin this should be sticky or snap.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, usability testing, you can have people comment as they're working on it or not. You can just have it recorded and then remember what they've said and take notes while you're watching them. Great, so I know that I can click on this because it's green. I'll click on the first flight, even though maybe I prefer Virgin Airlines.
Soon enough, you will not be able to use their airlines.
Wait, why?
They were acquired by Alaska.
Oh yeah, I have an Alaska credit card, so I have both. Yeah, yep, I can fly with them still. I like them. Cool.
Same here.
Yeah, and so now I have these hotel options. I like the fact that I can sort by price, stars, recommended. I can see that I can add multiple. I like the photo of this one. It looks really elegant. I'll click on that. Let's say I want to go back. Maybe I don't want that hotel after all. Can I do that? Yep, great, cool, but I still like that hotel, so I'll click on it. Oh, we're missing a hotspot for the things to do. So it looks like I can click on the hotel, but I can't click on a card for things to do. So I'll make a note here. Can't click this. Weird.
Cool, and it's a very nice example of the user testing, right? So of the user data. People get confused on this page. So the idea was to select several cards. That's why we have that link at the top. But looks like the users get confused by the fact that on some screens we have next and on some we don't.
Yep.
In this case, I would probably change the designs a little bit to make it more consistent.
Gotcha. Cool, so I'm gonna click next at this point, and it looks like, cool, it knows I like lift, so we have that as default. Yeah, I also can't click the card here, but I'll click next because that seems to be what I need to do. And then I have my whole itinerary here, which is really nice. Everything's super clear to me. I know what I'm doing this day, where I'm staying, even the taxi. So everything's squared away for me. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Don't need to worry about where I'm going. Oh, I'm going to the Louvre. The Louvre would be beautiful to see. And it looks like the total is pretty good. Pretty good for what I'm doing. There's a lot of stuff here. But I want to add some friends so that I have friends going with me on this trip. So let's do that. Cool. Andy, Sam, and Jacob are pretty cool. So let's invite them. It looks like when I click on people, I get a check mark. That makes sense to me. I would assume that I'm not inviting the other people on this list, though it would be nice to be able to click on these.
Mm-hmm.
So let's click share. Ooh, cool, I get their photos in the top left. I get this beautiful photo. And then I have all these options down below. And it looks like I'm waiting for them to respond on some of these cards.
Mm-hmm.
These ones are ones that I'm doing on my own, so that we already got the check mark here. Cool, and it looks like done is what I want to click now. So I'll click done. And now I'm in the My Trips page. I can see Paris is there. I can see everyone I invited. I can see Australia, never got completed. Looks like I have some notifications, so I'll click that.
And what does it say?
It says that Toro Grill was just confirmed on my booking in
Oh,
Paris,
that's perfect.
France. That is
That was
perfect.
fast.
Yeah,
One
wow.
second after you booked it.
Perfect. They're very efficient. They get back to me really quickly. I got a comment on my flight to Paris. Maybe they're commenting on the fact that I'm not using Virgin, so they know I like it. Cool. I also have an invite for a trip to Tokyo. I would definitely accept that. This is really cool. I can see everything. Let's go to my settings page. Oh man, I'm Serge. This is cool. Yeah, I like that I can see everything. I like that I can see the trips I've planned, my companions. Maybe I want to go to my trips again. Let's go to the home page. I like all these different destinations. Yeah.
So now we can fix what's broken, kinda.
Yeah. So we go
maybe-
back to Serge's machine. He could see real time all the comments I left, and he can act on them, and he can even react to those comments on the prototype, which maybe you'll
Absolutely.
show.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
here, as you can see, we have the next everywhere in place. So let's assume that if people saw it once, they will probably expect for it to appear on different screens as well. That's why we will place it everywhere else as well, so that the flow is super consistent with the rest. You know, the pages that lack it they look the same. And as you can see, I added this next to each page. And then in this case, we probably don't need it for this part to be green anymore. However, we'll be able to select a flight. And let's come up with the same way for all of the cards or, elements to have this, to indicate that it's selected, basically. For now, let's just do something quick, something like this to understand that, this is selected, this is your flight. Same here. We select a different font style, and then we create one more check mark.
Nice.
And then probably you are not able to select several hotels, but I mean, in this case, most likely we might also consider adding these pluses over each card, but then once you tap on one, the rest would disappear.
Ooh, disappear. Yeah, that would
Maybe
make it more clear.
Something like that, yes, so that it's totally you totally understand. Or maybe we don't even need those pluses. Let's just for now remove them in order to be super clear, and then have this next button at the top.
Be the primary.
Correct. So here it might look like this. What else? That's pretty much it. Let's update let's refresh everything. Well, actually, let's wire the pages first.
Arturo, thanks for joining us. We did copy and paste it, so if you copy an element from one artboard, move to another artboard and press paste, it should paste in the same place. So that works out automatically.
That's correct.
And thanks, John, for joining us.
Push left, push left. Here we don't need the animation, the link anymore. Same here. And no link here.
Tim would be great at presenting XD, I think. He knows a lot about it. Razim was saying that Tim should be presenting XD as well.
Let's double check everything on my machine first before we hand it out to the users. Next, 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 next. It's a pretty long flow, and I mean, ideally, maybe you could break it into several parts, and of course, over time, you will optimize it once you receive a lot of user data feedback from anyone around you or the users around the globe, and of course, you can polish it a little bit later. And let's see if it gets back easily. Yeah, it does.
This is a very powerful app, though. When you think about all the things that you're doing as a user, usually you'd have to go to many different websites, do many different bookings, many different payments, all in different locations, and then get a bunch of different emails. So I want this app to exist.
Right. And then, when you receive an itinerary like this, and maybe over time we could improve it a little bit from the visual standpoint, make it like more visual, creates tiny round photos or something like that next to the labels, so that it just nicely looks nice and people totally understand what it's about.
Yeah. This is super clear.
Let's publish the link once again and see if it makes more sense now.
Yeah, so when he's republishing, it actually just updates the link that was already sent out to everyone, so that we don't need to send out a new link every time we make updates, which is really handy.
Super cool.
Because you don't want to have to manage a bunch of different links. That would be inconvenient, to say the least. Cool, so if he's updated the link, I should just be able to refresh on my machine to get the updated prototype with those changes.
You came back in a day.
Yep, so a day later I come back. Oh, actually, before we jump into that, would you want to show how to resolve comments on a prototype?
Oh, sure. So basically you go here, you go basically open your prototype in the browser and see there's this comment from Nikhil, and we want to indicate that we took this into account and it's all fixed and ready. And when you hover over the comment here on this page, you see this text link that says resolve. You hit it once and boom, it's resolved.
Yep, and you can look back at all the comments that you had resolved if you want to look at the archive of changes you've made maybe. So that's a super handy feature that I used all the time.
Right.
Cool, okay. And then we can jump back to my screen at this point. It's a day later. We're back here, and so I'll go through the flow again. I want to go to Paris. These are the dates I want. And now I have the airline with the check mark, so now I more clearly understand that I've selected something. Okay, great, I can just hit next then. Cool, same here, I can just hit next. Great, I don't see options for the other ones. I've picked this hotel, so I can click next again. I could select multiple restaurants if I want, but I just want to go to Le Cinq. Cool, I want this lift option. I'll hit next. My itinerary is all squared away. I'll add my lovely friends before sharing to them, and I am done. Great, that was way more clear for me. So as a user, I'll give feedback that I liked those updates, I understood it better, and we've succeeded with our user testing.
That's awesome. Yes, when you're ready, when all of the data is in place, just analyze it together with your PMs, with with the people who are considered stakeholders, and this is the way. This is the only way to basically polish the user experience.
Yep. Get it in front of as many people as you can with a bunch of different backgrounds, cultures, understanding of technology. That's the way to do it.
And I wanted to show you what it looks like in different languages.
Yay! Awesome. German, maybe. Or Russian?
I don't know German, so let's try Russian.
We can do Japanese and Russian between the two of us.
Okay. It will just give you guys more context on what the app looks like for different people around the world, and it all depends on your audience. Some apps have, a bigger audience in countries abroad. So yeah, let's cover that.
Whoa. Different languages are so beautiful.
See how it got broken down into two lines?
So
remember we talked about it last time, so it's always a good idea to set this to certain width like this, and then this is in Russian, and then let's get back to English. Here you go.
Nice.
Yeah. So always keep that in mind when you design, because the translated apps work better. Not everyone knows English, so it's always a good idea to translate your app into several languages.
And then it gets spread out to more places too. So yeah, this has been great. Do you want to maybe do a bird's eye view of all the different links from your prototype? Because it can look kind of pretty once you've put all the connections in place.
Yeah, so if you zoom out, and then if you basically select everything, you will see that there's plenty of lines. There's like several lines.
It looks like some of them got reduced into this line. Do you know what that's representing? I actually don't. Oh, okay. So when you zoom out, it simplifies some of these lines together, which makes sense.
Which is very good, actually. Yeah.
Makes
so that
busy.
You don't get confused by this kind of spider web.
Yeah, because it used to get kind of big with its spider web composition.
Right.
So I like the fact that they've grouped it together.
Actually, I forgot one thing. I forgot to link this page.
Oh,
remember you
good
wanted
catch.
to click
I wanted to click on it. Yeah, that was a piece of feedback I gave in user testing.
Exactly. So let's link it, and then here, this is how you do it. Pretty straightforward. Same way. We selected this picture, and I mean, sometimes it's a good idea to also make it a container, like all of it, make it clickable, because some people will be clicking on the name rather
everywhere.
Right. But for now, just it will save us some time, and we can select this page, and then it will push left, is in, is out, and let's set the way to come back to the previous page in the flow. Push right. Let's see if it works. Paris.
Nice. And did you add the button on the second page? Does that go to the right page as well?
We can link this one as well. Let's see what we can do here. And this, as you can see here, so once you tap here, we can introduce a tiny, nice animation. It could morph into a check mark, which would indicate that we've started the experience. And remember, last time I told you that if each of these cards on the home page, they indicate the fact that you can start with the destination right away. So instead of going to the first step, which is selecting a city, you could go to the next page in the flow, which is selecting the dates.
That would make sense, yeah.
Right, and then it would push to the left, and this one, basically, let's make it work like this.
Great.
And then here, let's see if it works. And we jump right into selecting the dates, right? And then we are able to get back.
Perfect. So our prototype is complete. We've done everything we need to. And then at that point you would test again, you'd publish your link, but
Yeah, don't forget to publish it once again once you're done.
good job, Serge. Good job fitting
Thank you.
everything in. And now it's time to do some portfolio reviews.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited.
Welcome to space. We're back. Sorry if I hit something. Yay, we're floating in space. Time for portfolio reviews. We're here in the space station.
Cool.
These are so cute.
I might sit like this.
All right, I'm gonna take it off because we're good. We got the airlock on. We can breathe in space.
It's definitely better here than in space.
Yeah. And we've got 2 portfolios to review, so let's jump into it. The first is Kulud Marui. Let me know how to pronounce your name, but Kulud, you have some stuff from our challenges, which I'm super excited about. Thanks for putting them up on your Behance page. We're taking a look here at her Behance page, and I had the first project pulled up. It looks like you have a lot of work on here. I'm gonna start though with the newer stuff.
I really like it. I like the usage of the gradients. It's one of the ways to make your app shine. I like the choice, the color palette in general.
Yeah.
And I like the images, of course.
The gradients are really great. They're really in style right now. I like the gradient color over the images. It adds an extra level of style to it.
And it basically connects them from the visual standpoint. They look like they are from, coming from one place.
Yeah, and I love the pink to purple and blue.
Very nice.
We have the sign in.
Nice and clean.
It's so clean. I like it a lot. We have the most important stuff front and center, and then we have more minor interactions at the bottom. To me, this is clear that it's a link based on where it's positioned and its text.
And
so
it's vibrant, right?
Yeah.
It's bold and vibrant. It's considered a link, in my opinion, as well. I would understand that easily.
Yeah, this is really clean. So we're gonna sign in or register.
Oh, okay. This is the way it looks. Nice.
Nice.
Material design as well. We see the labels above the text.
Yeah, the drop down is a little subtle for me. I don't know if it would confuse me a little bit if I clicked into it expecting to type and then it became a drop down. So maybe there's a little bit of a different treatment besides just a drop down on the right hand side.
Or make the chevron white.
Yeah, make it a bit more contrasty. The register is cool. This icon I haven't seen before. Maybe it's from the icon kit this week, so if it is, good job using it. And then we have, cool, all the posts.
Okay,
Great.
this is the profile.
I love it. Oh my gosh, that crocodile's scary. It looks like we have a line right here on the bottom though. This looks a little confusing just because it's right at the edge where we have these drop shadows.
Maybe it's a fold line.
Maybe, yeah.
Or leftover.
Yeah. I see we also have the line at the top here, so maybe it's just left over from that, but maybe removing the line would work a little bit better here.
And also, I've noticed the icons in the CTA buttons, so always be a good idea to keep consistent distances from the icon to the text element.
If we look here, there's a good amount of space, and if we go back up, it looks a little bit tighter here. Great, this looks cool though. I like the rounded corners throughout, so the buttons and the images are all rounded. We have these drop shadows that work really well.
And make sure to keep the distance on the right and on the left same.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's a little bit more on the left than on the right. Good catch. So you want to make sure those are center aligned.
Yeah, if it's intentional, of course. Some people
Maybe
like
you
it
want to have it a little bit offset.
shifted,
I like
yeah.
asymmetrical haircuts, so I would get
Right.
that. Then we have the crocodile here.
So I'd say that subtle subtitle might be
A little hard to read, yeah.
A little hard to read, and especially given that this image might change, and you should keep that in mind.
Yeah, the description link here is a little bit confusing to me only because I'm really used to this icon meaning an attachment. And so with description, it's a little bit confusing in my brain. But maybe you can test that with user testing to see what other people feel as well.
Right. And don't forget that the previous text links and the buttons were all caps, but here
Good
it's
catch.
regular.
Yeah, it's thin and all caps, and then this is bold and not all caps.
And that's why it's a good idea to come up with a font style and just, link it.
Character styles will be your friend for this. So you could just have a button character style that you apply every single time. Consistency.
Right. Once again.
Yeah. And then we have, oh, actually, yeah, this looks like it's a little bit off center again. I'm not sure if that's intentional, but my eye definitely catches that there's less distance here.
Might be intentional. Some people prefer it that way. However, I haven't seen anything like that in the popular apps.
Yep. And we have the elephant here. Same style, it looks like. Just a different image. Oh, we have all the animals. Nice. Hyenas.
Very cool.
Lions. Polar bears. Cool. I like this. Good job. All right, let's jump into one more project. Why don't we do the pricing page challenge? This looks nice.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I like the fact that one of the plans is kind of pre-selected from the marketing standpoint. It always works better to give users the best choice, sort of to highlight it rather than give them three same cards and make them choose in between them.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's pretty obvious which one is the one you advise them to go with. So I like that.
Yeah, it's easier when you give them suggestions because you don't want to make users work for anything. You want to make it super easy, put it on a silver platter for them. Good choice here. I also like the composition. This is very similar to what Serge did with his companion app where you just put it in a really nice screen mock-up.
Right.
I think that's really valuable to do. It showcases it really well.
Agree.
Okay, so this is really great. I'm going to appreciate these as we go. And let's look at the Global Azure Bootcamp. This is a Microsoft thing. Nice. Cool, there's a couple different things going on here. I'm not sure what this is used for. It'd be good to have like a title and description for some of these projects to know what we're looking at, to have context.
Just a little bit of context, because the users most likely will have the context when they have the app downloaded or the website open.
Right.
And we don't here. We don't necessarily understand what it's about. So it's always a good idea to place something like, unique selling proposition or the project description in the first image or the hero.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, I'm not sure what the purpose is, but if we scroll through, we can see maybe it was a website, and so you put together some profiles. This looks cool. I like the background pattern that you have going on here.
Yeah, me too.
It's a really cool showcase. Hey, it's you. Nice. Cool. And then, okay, yeah, so there's a certificate of participation. So it looks like it was a boot camp that you helped design a website for and all the branding and marketing around it. Very cool. I like all these illustrations.
Yeah, they look nice and clean.
Good job there. And let's look at My Tony's website. Cheeseburger. Nice.
Here at the top part, you've used a lot of space. Just keep in mind that a lot of users open a website on a small laptop, which means that you have to make sure that you've designed for them as well, so that the top bar doesn't show up as the half of the screen, right? So it's usually better to keep that in mind before you start doing design.
Yeah, or at least knowing when it would break and how it would break if you make it smaller screen sizes. And maybe we'll go through that, but there are a lot of options at the top. The other thing for me is it's a little bit small in terms of the text size. Maybe it would look better blown up on a larger screen, but it's a little bit hard to read here, and the highlight is pretty tight with the characters, which also hurts the legibility a little bit. So maybe give it a bit more space to breathe with the highlight around the text. Let's scroll down. Cool, it looks like we have different pages here. different stuff going on.
Nice. I have choices, right? I can click on one of the cards, and it will be the beginning of my, interaction with this website. And I see that on the left, this is the home page, right? And then on the right, we see the product details page.
Details, yeah. So it looks like we could click on one of these for more details, and we get some more information about it. I think the images being used are really clean. I'm not sure where you grabbed them from, maybe Adobe stock, but they look really professional.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and I like the typeface too. It looks like the text is a slight green color, so it looks like green is used throughout. It might be nice to use one more color besides just the green. What do you think, Serge?
I think that it's a good idea because in the CTA buttons, which color is it?
It's dark green. Yeah.
Red. It's just a shade of green. I think a good idea would be to use something more vibrant.
Maybe like an orange would complement the green really well.
Yeah, or yellow. Yes.
Yellow, yeah. For cheeseburger, it would work well too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially given that it's food. Green is a nice choice, nice color choice, but then yellow, red, something that implies natural products would work well.
Cheeseburgers, natural.
Right.
Yeah, but I like the way that you've showcased a close-up, like nice basically like overview of what this project's about at the top, and then you go into more detailed screens. The stacking is really nice to see the whole composition. So I think this is displayed well. Again, it might be nice though to have some accompanying text to describe what's going on here, who this was for, why you worked on it. All that stuff is really nice to include.
And we have plenty of space in the hero to do that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll look at one more. Let's look at the web experience for pet socials and playdates.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Again, I really like this top header. I feel like it's a really great intro, and then if we had some text around what this is, it'd be really nice.
Right, and again, the CTA color, let's consider something vibrant.
Yeah, it looks like the surrounding area for the button is a little bit tight with the text, so make sure you have some room to breathe here.
Yeah.
Cool, it looks like we can sign up. You're consistent with the styling of everything. I love the cat photo in the background. Also, these background shapes are really nice. It puts the focus on your design.
And it separates from content over it, so in front of it, so cool.
This looks like a really heavy informational screen, but I can clearly see what's going on. This is a really good screen to include in your portfolio, I think.
Almost looks like an inbox, right?
Yeah, the styling is like main controls on the far left with a darker contrasted color. Then you have your emails or options or things you're going to choose, and then you have your details on the far right. I really like that hierarchy of information. It's very clear to a user what's going on.
And I like the fact that the background colors are different in all of those sections.
Yeah, so you can clearly tell the darker contrast is like the main primary one, then we get a little bit lighter, and then lightest.
Yeah,
Color
exactly.
use. It's very good. Cool, this looks like you're booking a service for a dog walker, which is pretty cool. Good job here. These are awesome. You did a great job. I think you have some really great pieces on your website on Behance. So yeah, just adding description text I think would be helpful. Do you have any other advice, Serge?
Working on the CTA colors a little bit more, coming up with different vibrant ones, and then you could ask your friends or the peers, which color they prefer.
Yep, great job. All right, so now we're going to Nikhil. I think Nikhil figured out he was next. He was mentioning on stream. So we have a couple projects here that we've seen, like the animal dashboard. So good job getting this up so quickly.
Remember that one? Yes.
Yeah. This is a really great, again, header showcase piece. I like this.
And I like the fact that the screens are, put against the vibrant colors, vibrant backgrounds. This way you can see the design clearly.
Yeah, it definitely showcases the design really well. I will appreciate this. So yeah, again, I think having description text is really nice. Context is key with understanding what you're looking at. So I know that I'm looking at a dashboard and then the detail page, but why. Why was this made? What were you working on? It'd be nice to know that you were participating and collaborating in an Adobe stream. You put this together for a challenge.
Yeah, it says Behance Live Challenge winner on the right.
Yeah, but it's good to like talk a little bit more about that with some more text in the project,
Agree.
I think.
Yeah, not everyone is going to read it on the right.
Yeah, you want to make it front and center because it's part of the project. Next, we'll do Analytics Framework Concept.
Oh, okay, the dashboard. So the dashboards are a very different story, and it takes time to understand the way to like figure out the way they're supposed to work. But once you do, it's a very cool experience, and I really like designing dashboards.
Yeah, I think it's a really important ability to show on your portfolio, to say that you've worked on stuff like this and you know how to translate really complex information, because dashboards are packed full of information, and as a designer you're working really hard to make it super clear to get a high-level overview of a lot of dense stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then when you see the data, when you receive the pieces of data, it's always very exciting and interesting to understand which type of a graph or a bar works well for different types of content.
Yeah, different types of information. I really like this. It looks like we have another screen with some settings. Nice.
Looks very nice and clean.
Yeah, it looks like we have some options on the left-hand side. We have our main navigation here on the left. It does look like we have a little bit of space at the top. I wasn't sure if that was an intentional decision, but maybe these need to be moved up to have an equidistant from the logo and between the different icons.
Yeah, I agree.
And then having all these toggles is nice, but it might be nice to showcase a different type of interaction, maybe a checkbox, radio buttons, just something a little bit different in terms of style if you're just showcasing that you can put together this type of mock.
Or create a UI kit that would include all of that, right?
Yeah, you can create a UI kit like Peck, who's next on the stream, did for XD. So great, let's jump into Pegasus. Speed is just the beginning. I like the tagline. Oh, it's a car-related design.
Oh, this is cool. I like it. It's very visual.
Yeah, the shapes going on are really nice. This is a really good showcase.
The one thing that is missing for me is the logo or the name.
Oh yeah, yep. So I feel like above this description there would be some sort of logo or text here to indicate what we're looking at. Again, a logo and branding goes a long way to showcase a piece and to explain what you're working on, just like Companion. Great. Okay, so this is nice. I like this little underline. It's super cute. And the shapes going on in the background. I like this description text. Like, this is a good way to progress. Maybe this is just a whole landing page design.
Probably.
But it's really nice
like
to
one.
see it zoomed in, I feel like.
Oh,
wow. That's cool looking. This is rad looking. These look like Tron cars.
Yeah, it looks like a dreamer a little bit.
Yeah. Wow, okay.
Very nice.
Yeah, I like the typeface used. I like the layout of the whole landing page.
Yes, it doesn't repeat itself, so it makes it more engaging to interact with.
Oh, it looks like there's another color too.
Oh, interesting. Maybe it's a different variant.
Yeah. I like the different color applications.
Would be nice to test them against each other and see the results.
User testing. So it looks like we just have two big images of landing pages. It might be nice to have a bit of a bird's eye view of these pages at the top to see what I'm going to look at before scrolling through the entire thing. And again, having that description text and title might be good here too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe zooming in a little bit, enlarging the tagline.
Yeah, I agree with that. We have some really sharp angled shapes too. It might be nice to mimic that with your CTAs to have some sort of style. Yeah.
It would be interesting to see that. And I liked how aggressive the angles look like, you know.
They're very sharp angles, and we have these circles that are very bold colors in the background. Really nice color theory, really nice typography, good layout. I like it. Next we'll look at Vicolo. Automotive, again, a management system, which is cool.
Okay, now we know the context.
Exactly.
It's good.
This is really nice, just seeing like a logo, branding, and a tagline to have
Yes.
an idea of what we're going to be looking at.
And we know what we are going to see, sort of, right? We expect something already.
Nice. So we have our sign-in screen, or you can connect with social media. Got some upcoming stuff.
Nice.
Looks like upcoming cars. I'm not quite sure what the use case is here.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the context might be a little bit nice to know a bit more about it. I don't know though, it looks like I can drive a Lamborghini, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
With some orange tires. Looks like I have some sort of alert though, which makes me worried that like a tire popped or something. But I like the layout a lot here. It looks like the title is not perfectly aligned with the icon on
Vertical,
the top.
yeah.
So that's a little bit jarring for a user. I do like the header image. Back being down here is a little bit confusing to me too.
Interesting. I mean, it's interesting to see what the users think about it. That's what I mean by exploring. Why not? If no one is, confused, why
And
not?
that's fine, yeah.
But yeah, I agree that it's unusual to see it there.
Yeah, it's also like the last thing on the page. Usually you want to keep the main CTA on the
Yeah.
bottom, so this to me feels like a weird place, but user testing can help with that. I do like everything else though. Let's see, the navigation on the bottom looks good. It might be good to know what page I'm on though. Right now they have equal weight, so I'm not sure what page I'm on.
I mean,
Maybe.
it says home at the top, but still, I agree, a nice color, like
Yeah.
splash of color would help.
This one should definitely be a different treatment than if we're on home compared to the other ones. Maybe even like a background color would be good here.
Or an underline.
Yeah, I do like the style of this header color behind here.
Agree.
It looks like a very straightforward login screen, so I'm not confused at all by anything here. It looks like the first field is selected because we have this light green color. I'm wondering if the green is used anywhere else. I see the pink is the CTA. And then I think this is a blue underline. And then we have a blue button and a red button. So maybe just pull together the consistency with some of these CTAs and the colors used throughout.
Right, and you should definitely set a hierarchy, set a system, and understand which color is more important and which color works better for the users.
Yeah.
And for your app as well, ultimately.
Yeah. Great. Well, these are beautiful. Thank you so much for submitting them. I hope you enjoyed
you.
our reviews. And now we have a couple minutes left. So Serge, do you want to talk a little bit about what you did through all 3 days and give any more parting words of wisdom?
Absolutely. So we've spent 6 hours total.
Wow, yeah, we have.
And we started with the sketches, pen and paper, and then we've transformed them into the wireframes, the high fidelity wireframes, and while doing those, we've managed to, keep all of them, to make them in line with the iOS guidelines, because we were designing for iPhone 10. And then all of the user goals, we kind of transformed them into flows and wanted to make sure that the users understand how to post and how to craft their perfect trip. So the most important button in this app is located in the bottom bar, the tab bar. And one thing I wanted to cover is that I see a lot of hamburgers in the apps, in the designs, but sometimes
Meat icons.
right. But sometimes it's good to expose the elements right away rather than hide them, in a hamburger menu. So it's better to give people options right away on the screen. It will result in increasing interaction with your app. That's why I've used this top bar rather than a hamburger, right? And this tab bar at the bottom, it has this main CTA, which is it's basically, it looks like a plus, and then once you click it, it brings you to the core experience of the app, which is crafting your perfect trip with your friends or companions in general, or alone if you want to go alone. Some people prefer
Solo
that.
traveler to Perry.
Right. we try to come up with clean UI, one CTA color that would indicate, it would be highly visible, highlighted everywhere, and mostly indicate clickability. And then also the notifications. So as you can see here in the assets panel, we came up with several colors. Now that we decided, well, I mean, I'm not 100% solid on green, but since it's the color we were working with, I decided to keep it for now. But we definitely don't need this one, right? So we can delete it. Always a good idea to keep not only the CTA color but the service colors set as well. And by service colors, I mean red, yellow, gray, for instance, for the notifications, stuff like that.
Yeah, so you want to prep your files, make sure everything's put together properly. Serge has done a great job with all the organization throughout this project. How can people reach you after today? Where can they find you online?
So you've covered that part.
Yep.
I have a website, I have a page on Behance, so you can definitely contact me over Behance. And by the way, Nikhil already messaged me yesterday. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks for reaching out, Nikhil. Don't be a stranger. Serge is available to you to answer your questions as he's an expert in UX and UI. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Serge, for going through all this. This has been fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you all for joining us. And next up, we have Talon and Peck. Please ask them a lot of questions about XD because Talon is the lead designer on the XD team, so they'll be very knowledgeable in that realm. And Peck is wonderful. He's going through his website redesign for his company. So thanks again. See you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.